This is Wongamania. It's by a Singapore company. It's published by Capital Gains, and the designer is. Let me just take a look at the designer. The designer is Wen Song, Seo Wen Song, I think. All right, with quite just three different illustrators for the game. All right, so it is promoted as a game where it's trying to teach you economics and stuff. Wonga apparently is a slang used in UK to represent money. All right. So what happens is that during the game, at the start of the game, each player will have sent $3. All right. So they have a personal bank. They have $3. So the cards are multi-use. All right. The cards will either be used face down as money or face up as the cards that it's supposed to be depicted. So each of us will first start with $3 you put under your bank, right, and you get 3 cards in your hand, which then you can do something with the 3 cards. And then during the turn, alright, you'll be collecting money. So you take 2 Wonga. Every round you always take 2 Wonga, right, put under your bank. And then depending on where this Wonga marker is on this economic cycle, alright, you will either get money for the number of assets you have in front of you, or you need to pay money depending on the number of assets in front of you. So for example, if it's starting here, you actually get 2 Wonga for each asset in front of you. Asset means that cards like, for example, bonds or stocks, right, or property. Right, when you have them in front of you, for example, if I have this tree in front of me and the Wonga marker is here, I'll get the 2 Wonga for salary, as well as 6 for my assets in front of me. Alright. Then after that, if this was in, say, recession here, then I'll actually need to pay 9. And if I can't pay it, then I either need to sell it based on the market price, alright, or I need to auction off my stuff to the other players. Now after I've done that, I have up to 3 actions to do. I can even not do any of the actions, but I have up to 3 actions to do. The actions essentially means playing cards. Right? When you play the cards in front of you, if you play asset cards in front of you, like stock, property, or bonds, you need to pay Wonga depending on market price. So if it's in recession, you pay only 1 Wonga to put it in front of you. You can exchange. That means you take 1 card from your hand, put it underneath, and take a Wonga card up from under your bank, and then put it face up in front of you. So this will become like your card in your hand. So you're exchanging Wonga. You can also buy a card, which means that you take one of the Wonga cards from under your bank and then turn it face up. So now it's no longer a Wonga, it is a card that you have in your hand. You can also play these cards. So some of these cards are like event cards that you can play on other players. Right? You pay the Wonga and you play on another player. And you can also buy trust fund. So this is how you win the game. If you spend, each trust fund will cost 8 Wonga, right? Trust fund is 8.
Yeah, trust fund's 8 Wonga.
Yeah. So you spend 8 Wonga, alright, to buy the trust fund. So if you have three trust funds, you win the game. And so after you're done, the next player takes turn, and we keep going on until one player has bought 3 trust funds, and they win the game. So that's the gist of Wongamania. How do I feel about Wongamania? I think it's a game that requires a bit more fine-tuning before it should be released. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's talk about aesthetically speaking. Like for example, you have this Wonga chit that you need to place on the markers. Some of them are very small, so sometimes the Wonga will cover it, which is quite interesting. I mean, it's not very good because you are always looking at this number whenever any player starts. So when the chit is so big that it covers it, then it's quite difficult. I almost wish that this was a transparent chit instead. Yeah, or a pawn, it'd be easier to see. Aesthetically speaking, the cards are also not very well designed. The words are really small to see. Right, it's a lot of words. They could have used symbols. Most of them could have used symbols to help to make it easier to understand.
They spent a ton of real estate on the art.
Yeah, it's not even nice art. I mean, it's just like clip art. It's like clip art that we get from the internet and just form them together. Right. So they could have like cut down on the art, and a lot of this could have been more useful. For example, like a lot of the cards may have all these funny symbols on top. Alright, it's not that helpful because in the rules they don't really explain what the symbols mean. You just assume that well they're not very useful at all. You don't really need the symbols at all. The game itself. Let's talk about the game mechanism itself. I think one of the issues that we found was that the events that screw your neighbors or screw your opponents are numerous.
Yeah, and also a lot better than the ones that are beneficial to you in most cases.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so many of them that it might come to a situation where you cannot even start your engine, right? And the game is over for you. So if like like at the start, if you play a card where if you start building a lot, you kind of need to know what your opponents are doing for you to be able to play the asset card correctly. For example, if I decided to go with a bond, if I go by the bond track, right? If someone plays something that will screw up the stock market or something like that, then I'm screwed. I need to sell off my assets to the bank, and I could go bankrupt. Now the funny thing about the game is that if you go bankrupt, right, you just lose whatever assets that you have. You don't lose your trust fund, any trust fund that you gain. But the next round you come back in again, fresh. So that's kind of strange, because usually bankrupt has a lot of other implications. Impacts.
So kind of some other things. Because you get cards by actually drawing the money, that's a neat mechanic. But at the same time, it means that once you run out of money, you don't even have cards to play. So you're literally just like getting 2 Wonga each turn that you can't do anything with. And it takes Wonga to play cards. So, I mean, I guess it's realistic that like if you run out of money in the economy, you don't have any way to get more money. But in terms of making it a good game, it's not very fun.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Also, there's something with the economic cycle, which is kind of neat in theory. It's got 4 quadrants, and one of them is a negative quadrant in terms of like what you get from stocks and bonds, and the other 3 are positive, which sounds kind of cool, but it never actually travels in a cycle because there are so many cards that move the Wonga token around. And this is kind of a little complex, I don't know. It's supposed to happen that this moves after each player is taken a round. So if Eric and I are playing, it would move after Eric's turn every time. That happens regardless of whether or not someone played a card to move the token. So if it's my turn, I never really want to put this token here because it's always going to give Eric first dibs on the really good spot. And then by the time it gets to me, it's going to be worse.
Yeah.
So we ended up in the situation where every time someone could move the token, they would just move it right there because it meant that everybody else after them got screwed over. And then on their turn, they'd be back to positive again.
Yeah.
So I think we spent like 80% of the game in these 2 spots.
Yeah. Most of the time we don't really go to the other quadrants because of the cards that we feel that are a bit overpowered. They could have been balanced further. Like for example, maybe you need to pay more to activate the event, for example.
Right.
Or the event will come into play in the next turn. Right,
there are a lot of cards that feel very useless. There was one that made somebody sell all their bonds for 3 Wonga, and like you sell bonds for 3 Wonga anyways, so it's not really that fun to play a card that's like, you have to do this thing you would probably do eventually anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I feel that, I mean, I guess the game maybe came off as a starting point was that, this is educational versus actual game. Then they made it into a game. So I kind of wish that they came up with the game itself first, then try to make it educational. Yeah, because I think if you teach by not directly teaching, I think that's more effective than this is just to teach you economics.
Yeah.
Right. Then you have this different mindset when you sit in on the game.
And even from an educational standpoint, like stocks and properties operate in the exact same way. They just get screwed over by different cards. That's not really accurate.
Yeah.
You don't force other people to go on vacations in the real world and have that have a massive impact.
You don't make them have babies.
So yeah, I mean, like there's a card that just like gives somebody a baby. I don't know. It's kind of tries to be educational, but doesn't keep that theme together, and then doesn't really make itself a good game either. So
yeah, I think even with because it plays 2 to 6, I think in 6 players will be very chaotic. It'll be very chaotic. I think there'll be not much things you can in control of. There's a lot of randomness from the cards that you get.
There's also not much to do on other players' turns, so I imagine 6-player would be brutal.
Yeah, and the downtime would be a lot as well.
Yeah.
So I cannot recommend this game. I feel that it should have did a bit more playtesting, a bit more. Maybe it needs a few more mechanisms and a few more balancing before it should be released.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's 100% right.
Yeah. So this is Wongamania. I need to thank the designers though for sending the review copy to me. Yeah, but unfortunately, I must say that I cannot recommend the game. Right, so this is Wongamania. Thank you for watching.